Good morning, friends. It is mid-November, which means that winter is almost upon us. Here in southwestern Ontario, the weather actually hasn't been that bad. It's still been getting up to like 10 degrees some days, which is quite unusual, and we haven't seen any snow, barely even any frost. But still, I feel that it's coming, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I never really look forward to winter. I'm always excited about Christmas season in the month of December just because there's so much going on. There's so many concerts and parties and just different activities to look forward to, and I love that. But after December, I'm just like, no, I cannot handle this winter anymore. I'm just not a fan of the cold weather and the snow, and I also sometimes suffer from seasonal depression, so like the drearier it is, the like drearier I get, and I start to really feel that. By January or February, I just crave sun. I just crave being outside in warm weather and being active and leaving my little hobbit hole again. But to combat those emotions, I like to come up with a bucket list for winter of things that I can do to kind of keep my spirits up, to keep me in the zone, and to really cultivate my literary and artistic interests. So that's what I'd like to share with you today. I'm going to be sharing a list of bookish and creative activities that you can do during the winter time to kind of keep yourself inspired and encouraged and happy and just enjoying the cozy season and making the most of the cold days when all you can do is kind of sit inside your house. I've tried to broaden this bucket list so that anyone can kind of pick one of these and personalize it for themselves, but I will also be discussing my own personal goals as we go through this. And sorry if my voice is a little off. Another sign of winter. So the first activity on my winter bucket list is to memorize a Christmas poem. Right now I'm memorizing the poem Mercy by William Shakespeare with my grade 8 class for our Christmas program, and it kind of just reminded me how wonderful it is, how fun it is, and how helpful it is to memorize poems in terms of just cementing the words and the meaning into your brain. It's astounding. The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest. It becomes the throned monarch better than his crown. His sceptre shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty, wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. That's as far as I've gotten with that poem, but I would also like to memorize T.S. Eliot's poem Journey of the Magi, which I stumbled across last year, and I actually wrote a Substack article about it because I loved it so much and I wanted to frame it in my house and just reflect on it time and time again last Christmas. And so I hope to do that again this Christmas by actually memorizing the poem and being able to recite it from memory. And then once the Christmas season is over, I might turn again to Shakespeare's sonnets and just start working my way through them slowly but surely. Or scripture, of course. Scripture is the best thing to memorize, and I actually do that at school regularly too in our morning liturgy. As a school, we're always memorizing scripture together. My second goal is to set reading goals for yourself and compile a winter TBR list. Set realistic reading goals, first of all. It is winter, which means you might have more time snuggled up inside to read, which is great. So challenge yourself, but also be realistic about how much you're going to read. And then if you're thinking, okay, maybe I can read a book a week, plan that out for the whole season and identify which book you want to read per week. Very soon, I'm going to be compiling the ultimate winter reading list, just like I did for autumn, and I shared that on my YouTube channel, and people seem to love that and really got some good ideas from that, so I hope to do that again very soon on this channel. And then I'm just going to identify some of the ones that are top priority on my winter reading list and work my way through them this winter. Related to that is my third goal, which is, for me, that's to finish the Silmarillion over the winter and to keep up with my journey into Tolkien's Legendarium and to not give up and get sidetracked and distracted from that. So I really want to read through the Silmarillion, which is a bigger book. And so my challenge to you then is to also pick a bigger, thicker, more challenging, more intimidating book. Maybe a book that you've been putting off reading for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't think you'd have enough time to get through it. And just challenge yourself to get through it slowly this winter. And it's okay to read slowly and thoroughly and take notes, annotate, and just enjoy it, and don't have that pressure on that I need to get this done in 2 weeks or anything like that, because that will suck out the enjoyment and you won't get as much from the book if you do it that way, honestly. And then also you can be reading shorter books on the side. Supplement your reading. Have an ongoing, bigger, challenging read and some easier, lighthearted reads, or whatever that looks like for you. My fourth bucket list item is to watch a theatrical production of a book that you love, and my husband and I are actually going to the Shaw Festival this afternoon to watch A Christmas Carol in theaters, which has been on my bucket list for several winters now, and we're finally doing it, and so I am so excited for that. We saw Sherlock Holmes in theaters about a month ago for our anniversary, so I feel like we're on a bit of a theater streak here. And looking ahead, there's tons of fantastic productions coming out in 2025 as well, including, I think, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. If you have a theater near you that puts on plays based on books that you love, go. It can be pricey, but even if you do one a season, it's so worth it just to get out, to enjoy that atmosphere, and to just appreciate theater art. Fifth bucket list item is to study a classical artist or a piece of art. This can be literary, it can be visual, it can be musical. I love Handel's Messiah, and I see it in concert every Christmas without fail. Once, if not twice or 3 times, as much as I can, and I listen to it all the time. I just love and appreciate Handel's Messiah, and I just find that Christmas time is the best time to enjoy that work of music. So that's going to be kind of my classical piece that I'm going to be going to time and time again this season. Maybe I'll even be able to pick up a biography of Handel or something to learn more about the history of the piece. So I encourage you to do the same. You could do picture study, so selecting visual art pieces and just pondering them, reflecting on them, taking notes on them, looking into their history, and of course you can do the same for literature or music. Number 6, and this is a personal bucket list item for me, but is to write a novel. So this year I self-published my first novel in the spring. I finished another novella this month or last month, and I'm working on another novel, and I always find that I just don't have the time to do it during the summer, and I lament that, which means that I need to take more time during the winter when I'm inside more, I'm behind my computer more, to actually write my novel. And so if you're a writer, and it doesn't matter what type of writing you do, whether that's journalistic, whether that's short stories or poetry, or if you write novels like me, just make the most of the winter to get a big project like that done, and set maybe monthly or bi-monthly goals for yourself, or a goal, say, have a rough draft finished by April, by spring or something like that. Go at it. And so I'm thinking, forget NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, let's do NaNoWriC, National Novel Writing Season. 7th bucket list item is organize your thoughts, your favorite quotes, and anecdotes into a commonplace book. And I am so bad at this. I do have a commonplace book, and I almost never use it because I'm always scribbling my thoughts into random notebooks, as in whatever notebook's in my purse that day or whatever notebook's on the table next to me that day. And I have dozens and dozens of notebooks that are just full of words, and they are not organized whatsoever. And so this winter, I think I'm going to sit down one day and just go through all of my notebooks and sift through them and compile the best quotes, best phrases, the best thoughts that I've had, and put them in one place in a commonplace book. And then just train myself to use that commonplace book well, and to take it everywhere with me, and to just let that be the first place that I go when I have an idea. Bucket list item number 8 is to host a literary reading night or a book-themed party. Have you ever heard of those murder mystery nights? I've done a bunch of them and they are so fun, and I'm wondering if there's any literary themed ones like Charles Dickens World Murder Mystery or World of Jane Austen Murder Mystery. But those are so fun to get together a group of friends, make all kinds of good food, dress up, and just play your parts, and just play out the mystery, and let it unravel, and just spend a whole evening just having fun like that. I would love to do one of those this winter. And also like a literary reading where like we get together and we're gonna read this short story or a few chapters of this book, and we're just gonna sit by the fire and someone will read aloud and everyone else will sit and enjoy and listen, and then we'll talk about it. That idea sounds wonderful too. Or a book themed party, so maybe you do a Christmas Carol themed Christmas party, or I don't know, Dostoevsky themed party in February or something like that. Bucket list item number 9 is to start a writing club or a literary circle, and I talked about my desire to do this in a previous video, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to do this in my own life for myself with my own friends yet, but I am starting a writing club for my students at school that I'm hoping will eventually kind of turn into a very sophisticated literary society. but it's kind of starting as an open-ended writing club to just gauge interest and see what kind of writers we have in the school, and we'll go from there. And I am so excited to just live vicariously through my students. Obviously, I'm not going to be the star of the show, and I'm not going to be sharing my work with them. It's going to be student run, but I will be the faculty advisor there to help and to watch and to listen. So I'm so excited to have that on a bi-weekly probably basis and just see other young writers grow and flourish and just cultivate an atmosphere of safety and vulnerability, passionate creativity there. Bucket list item number 10 is to make book-inspired food and drink. So I'm thinking like Lil Jon's stew from Robin Hood or butterbeer from Harry Potter. I just want to try some of those kind of funky recipes, probably for like a party, Christmas party of some kind. Or it would be cool to look into tea blends inspired by literary characters. Like, I wonder if there's some sort of like tea latte that you could call a Jane Austen inspired tea latte, whatever that might look like. Maybe I need to invent that if it doesn't already exist, but how fun does that seem? And then you can try different ones and you can share them with your friends and it'll be wonderful. Bucket list item number 11 is to have a Little Women watch party where you watch the old version and the new version with Saoirse Ronan, and you just get together with some friends who love that movie, or any movie for that matter, any movie about a writer or based off a book, a literary movie of some kind, and just get together with friends who also appreciate that movie and sit and watch and enjoy and eat good food. Yeah, just make the most of that. Bucket list item number 12 is to try bookbinding. So I tried to get into bookbinding last year, and I did bind a few things, but I just didn't have the time or the skill to like really produce anything great. So I'd love to like perfect those skills and actually learn how to bookbind and make some awesome journals to gift to my friends or just to use for myself. That's one thing that I would like to get back into this winter. Bucket list item number 13 is to have a pen pal to send long letters to over the winter and embellish these letters, make them beautiful, use pretty stickers, use your best handwriting, use nice quality paper. I actually do have a pen pal, a friend who lives several hours away from me, who we find it hard to get together and stay in contact, but we are able to once in a while sit down and just craft a nice letter giving all the updates on our lives. And I love this system of keeping in contact with her, and I just find it so fun to sit down old-fashioned like and write a letter and make it pretty and then send it off. So if you have a friend who is long distance, why don't you ask them if they'd be interested in doing something like this? It's definitely a worthwhile activity. Number 14 on my bucket list is to make a literary scrapbook. So in 2022, I spent 5 weeks backpacking Europe with one of my best friends, and we've had plans to make really nice scrapbooks for quite a while now, and I've just never gotten around to it because it's expensive to print off pictures and buy stickers and all the supplies that we need, and we just haven't had a ton of time. But I'm thinking this winter might be better now that we live very close to each other again. So I'm hoping to buy a nice scrapbook, themed stickers, and just take it one country at a time. So we were in the UK first, so I'll just print off my UK pictures, get some UK stickers, and just worry about getting the UK part of our trip scrapbooked, and then the rest can come later. But I'm thinking it'd be cool to also include literary excerpts related to the things we saw in the UK. So like poems about Oxford or literary lines about Oxford when I'm scrapbooking our time in Oxford, that kind of thing. Or a poem about Edinburgh when we get to Edinburgh, because go Edinburgh. Yeah, or even just some recollections or poems that I wrote myself as we were traveling, which I'm pretty sure I did keep a journal, and I'm not sure where it is now, but I bet I could find that and just find some interesting snippets to also include in that scrapbook. Bucket list item number 15. Attend a poetry reading, a literary conference, a writer's club or a writer's meetup, or a similar event, if I can find any, which I attended a Tolkien conference a few months ago, which was excellent, but I don't know if there'll be anything similar happening near me over the winter. But I'm just going to keep my eye out for bookish type events, and if one pops up and it works for me to go, I'll go. And ideally I'll be able to take a friend along, but if not, then I'll go by myself and just face the strangers and just try something new just to get out of the house in the winter. Bucket list item number 16 is to paint or draw bookish art. So I did a bunch of this last winter actually, where I painted, and I'm not good at visual art and I'm not a good painter, but I do like to dabble in watercolor. So I made some watercolor pictures. I did a scene from Peter Pan, I did a scene from White Nights and Dostoevsky, and just some other scenes from books, and I put them in these little frames from the dollar store, and they're a bit chintzy and a bit tacky, but they're also cute, and I do have my Peter Pan one out this winter. Peter Pan always reminds me of winter and Christmas time because it was snowing when he came and took Wendy and her brothers away. Yeah, hopefully I can get around to doing a few more of these this winter. Bucket list item number 17 is to plan and budget for a literary trip. What I mean by this is my husband and I hope to go to the UK in the summer. Specifically, we want to spend a lot of time in Edinburgh near the university since I'm doing my master's there, but of course we want to go to Oxford, we want to go to Cambridge, and we want to seek out Tolkien related things, so places that Tolkien wrote maybe his hometown, a Tolkien museum if there is. And the same for other authors like the Brontes or Jane Austen or C.S. Lewis, and just go to kind of landmarks related to some of our favorite British literature. And so yeah, I think it would be encouraging for me to plan that out and to dream about it over the winter, even though it's months away, just to have something to look forward to. Number 18 is gift your favorite books to people. So if you're wondering what to give your friends or family for Christmas, give them your favorite books. Buy a copy, wrap it up really pretty, maybe find some way to embellish it or make it extra beautiful and exciting and get them really excited to read it, and then give that for Christmas. I never feel bad about buying books and giving books, whereas I do feel bad about buying junk or just useless stuff to give to people just for the sake of giving them something. I'm like, if I'm gonna spend the money and I'm gonna offer a gesture of friendship and love to this person, I want it to be meaningful and I want it to be able to have an impact on them and to help them grow as a person. And books are, in my opinion, the best things to do that. So I love to give books for birthdays and Christmas, all the events, whether or not people always appreciate them at first. It's what I do, so I recommend that you do the same. And goal number 19 is to get into audiobooks and find a way to walk or exercise while listening to the audiobook. My fitness usually goes super down in the winter, and then my mental health also crashes. Getting regular exercise and just moving is key to staying healthy and happy during the cold months. And it can be daunting sometimes, especially when you have so much to do on your computer or so much to read and you're like, I just want to sit. But get moving. Just listen to audiobooks or literature podcasts or something like that. And then the time has double value, right? You're getting exercise and you're also learning something. That is my last and final recommendation. I hope out of all of these 19 recommendations, there's something that you've picked up on and that you will add to your winter bucket list. And so I just wish you all a Merry Christmas season as it's coming and winter season, and I hope that you stay happy and healthy in these winter months.